That answers that thing. Got it? Here we go. In one. You're supposed to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On technology. Welcome to the SDEB. What is it? Hey! Welcome to it. Glad to have those of you who make it today be here with us. Joseph, good to see you too. I know you were coming as well. Great. So I am your host, Milo Shapiro. If you don't know me, I'm the author of Public Speaking, Get A's, Not Z's, and I host this program called The Power Lunch. We are the SDEBA, the San Diego Equality Business Association, formerly the GSDBA, and we are the Chamber of Commerce for San Diego's LGBT plus community, and any allies who want to come along and be with us are certainly welcome. Welcome to October, which where does that put us? We are on Train Your Brain Day according to the National Day Calendar. I never understand where they come up with these things from, but it seems like a good day to train our brain, and certainly more appropriate than, say, Garlic Lovers Day out here. So welcome to it. At this point, I would like to ask everyone to mute yourself. Just so you know, on Windows, Alt-A is a great toggle, so you don't have to mess around with clicking on anything. On Mac, Shift Command A. Please turn on the chat in case somebody hears something you have to say and wants to comment to you. It's always good. It might be under the more if you're on a small screen. Also, turn on the participants window. I'll explain in a little while what that's about. It tells you who's here, and soon you'll understand why it's important to know who's here. We are going to be recording this, and we do put it out on YouTube, which goes on our Facebook page. So just know that that's going to happen with this recording before we're done with it. Hopefully, today's busier than usual. Hopefully by tomorrow, it'll be out there for people who couldn't make the time slot, but want to hear what we had to say and what Margo has to say. Today's sponsor is Gilbert Studios. If you have any need for websites, especially in that wonderful world of WordPress, CJ Gilbert is amazing and knows the product inside out and backwards and does beautiful work. He does web design, web maintenance. If you've already got one and your web designer decided to run off to Timbuktu, you can still have that website kept alive. Email marketing, directory listings, because like the pictures show, sometimes it feels like the internet is a jungle. If you'd like to be a sponsor of a future event here at Power Lunch, jot us a note at info@sdeba.org, and we can tell you how that could work. Helping out today, we have a few people. But, this is last month. Barbara has been a wonderful help, but now we're back this month to having Brenda as my timer. But Barbara is here, so thank you for always jumping in when we need you, Barbara. CJ, who is behind the scenes, letting people in and making sure things work back there. There's Barbara. We also have our board. We want to thank our board who works so hard. You can see our current members up there right now. You can see those blue spots saying we could use a few more people who want to help keep SDEBA running strongly. If you could be that person, terrific. You can reach out to info@sdeba.org to find out more about what you could be doing. What does SDEBA stand for? This is our mission statement. I asked Evan if he would be the one to read it for this month. So Evan, if you'd unmute and tell us, what's SDEBA all about?
The San Diego Equality Board as a business association promotes LGBT influence through business ownership, workforce equality, and active consumerism, creating prosperity to support equality, diversity, and inclusion.
Thank you. Well done. And well done to the SDEBA for standing for something so wonderful as this. Being in the organization, for those of you who are not members, to tell you a little bit, it puts you on our website with directory search. I know the first place I go when I'm looking for resources is sdeba.org to search. For instance, if I put in realtor, these are 3 of the 8 that would show up on the first screen. And then if I clicked on it, it tells me all about Tamara. So not that Tamara is the only one, obviously there's others, but I'm just showing you, it gives you all that information. And she's going to be one of the first people I would call. It also gives you access to the app so that people in the organization can send you leads and tips, and it tells you about upcoming events. It's a terrific app for the organization. More about them at sdeba.org, as I keep saying. Some of the things we do is educational sessions, social events. We have a job board if you want to post or look for work. We have opportunities to advertise. You get free membership in a BNG, Business Networking Group, which I'll talk about shortly. You get to use the SDEBA logo in your materials to show what you support. And we have mixers like the one coming up October 21st at 5:30 here in Hillcrest at Oseas Villatoro's store, which is called Oseas Villatoro. A wonderful little clothing store right where Normal and University meet. So you can look for more information on our events page. But for a long time, we had no mixers, we had no events, and that's why we created the Power Lunch, to give people wherever they are, whenever, well, not whenever, it's always the second Wednesday at noon, but wherever they are, the chance to be with us, have a little chance to check in, and feel like at the end of an hour, you're back to your life without all that running around and barking. So do both. Come to the mixers as we have them and keep coming to the power lunches. This is what they look like. What is today about? It's to give you a chance to share what you offer to a larger section of the SDEBA community than maybe you're running into out and about or coming to the mixers. It's a chance to learn what others are offering. We provide education through this forum, and we help the SDEBA family grow by continuing events. What it isn't is exclusive by industry. So it's possible within the people who show up today, you'll have 2 insurance people or 2 realtors. That's okay for this particular setting. It's not a chance to find out about each other intimately because you're going to get up to 29 seconds. What we're hoping is you'll say, that's a person I should be talking to. I really should call Bill to follow up and learn more about that, or whatever the person is saying. Nathan said something that caught my attention. Let me reach out to him. It's not a replacement for the business networking groups. These are groups that meet every week, and you get to know each other's businesses really well as we share what's going on in our world, share challenges, share opportunities, and really get to the point where you go, I can't imagine recommending someone other than this person because I know them so well and the integrity behind them. So you can ask us more if you want to find out about them. They are free with your BNG membership, which isn't free, but it used to be an extra charge. Now it's part of your membership. It's not a commitment. If you have to see a client at noon next month, be with them. That's what income's about. We get it. But anytime you can, we hope you'll be with us at the Power Lunch. And finally, it's not a place to sell to us. We want you to be able to share what you do. But if the 12 or so people who are on this call are out there as a resource spreading the word of you, that's a lot better than just trying to get 12 people on this call to buy from you. So think in terms of that as you do your pitch. We welcome SDBA members and any guests who want to be here, at least through the end of the year. It is free for anyone who wants to come, and we'll take a look at whether we're going to extend that into 22 or not, probably in December. Our meeting format is, as I finish up this introduction, this opening, we'll go into our member introductions. We're going to have, that is not who our guest interview is. I forgot to update that slide. Our guest interview with Margo Garcia. We'll have some upcoming events and announcements, and then we'll have our official closing at 1 o'clock. After that, if you'd like to do Q&A with Margo, she has said that she will linger. And if people are here who want to do that, that's great. But we try to always make sure you can get out on time so we're not holding you up. Sometimes we do that extended Q&A, it's up to the host. How will you know it's your turn to speak? Well, that's why I said to turn on the participants window. The first couple of people on there are the hosts of the show, but after that, we'll be going through the list alphabetically. So by glancing at that, you can see who's before you and be ready for your turn. When you hear your name, that's when you unmute. Please don't think I'll be proactive and do that in advance because the names jump around if you do that, and I may accidentally skip you. So when you hear me say your name, that's when to unmute. You can share orally, or if you know how, you can share screen as long as you can do it within your time frame of the 29 seconds. Afterwards, please do remute and unshare if you shared your screen. And afterwards, here's a big part. Please put your big 5, your name, your website, your phone, your email, and your LinkedIn over in the chat session so people who are intrigued by you can find you easily and find out more about what you do. Keeping us on time today, it does say Barbara. I was afraid of that. It's going to be Brenda, who's going to be watching for signals at 30. Actually, we have a smaller group today. Can I change those times on you just a little bit, Brenda? Can we say 40 seconds will be, so 35 for a yellow, 40 for the red, and at 45, so add 10 on each of those. At 45 seconds, that's when you'll say thank you to give them the clue that it's time to wrap things up. Sound good, Brenda? It looks nothing like that. Brenda?
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay, so just adding 10 to each of those. I should have thought of that when I saw the number of signups. So 40, so at 40 and 45. All right, and away we go. Here we're going to start at the top of the list with, what is with? Oh, I have to bring up the list. So I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. So I can see the list, bring up participants. And CJ, show us how it works.
Well, hello and good morning, everybody. I'm CJ Gilbert, and I've been a website developer for over 25 years. I call myself the Web Safari Guide because most of my clients understand when I say the internet is a jungle. I have a ton of resources available for you on my SDEBA resource page. I just dropped the link in the chat box. And the thing I'm so excited about this week and this month is I was approached by Eric Lofholm, who is a sales master trainer, and he asked if he could do a webinar just for me and my people. And I said, yes, that would be amazing. amazing. It is next week. It is the 21st, which is a Thursday at 2 p.m. Sign up. Use my link here in the SDEBA resource page. Sign up. Grab your spot. Even if you can't make it, Milo, grab your spot because it will be recorded and available. CJ Gilbert, Gilbert Studios, helping you do better business because the internet is a jungle.
Thanks, CJ.
Very nice. Well done. Always a good example. And he's not kidding. It is an honor to be asked to do anything by Eric. I'm familiar with Eric's work. That's great. Next up on my list is our timer, Brenda.
So my name is Brenda Geary. My passion is health and wellness. In corporate America, I was a VP of Human Resources, always super healthy until one day I wasn't healthy. And then for the next 12 years, I lived with chronic illnesses. I'm also a breast cancer survivor. At my sickest, I was in bed 20 hours a day on 24 meds, and I wasn't living, you guys, I was just existing. So my passion now is to help people to optimize their health naturally. I'm off of all prescription medications. I love teaching people how to use plant-based supplements to help their immune health. And so who do you know that's looking to optimize their immune health as we're going into the cold and flu season? I'd love that referral. Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda. Last of our co-hosts is Garrison Fletcher.
Hi, everyone. I'm Garrison Fletcher. My company is Apex Type and Graphics. Been a graphic designer for more than 30 years. Love to do makeovers and help companies do something new. So I wanted to show a couple makeovers that I've done before and after. You can see I beefed up the font quite a bit, make it a little bit more readable. A logo redesign, used the mountain theme and gave him a talking point. So wherever the client comes in as a trainer or a training partner, they can come in at a different level, things of that nature. And then also a little switch to their Wix website to help them that way. Flyers change from before and after, etc. I love doing makeovers. I love working with clients. It's very interactive. My background's psychology, not art. So I ask a lot of those great questions. Garrison Fletcher, Apex Type and Graphics. I don't care if you did it yourself, as long as it doesn't look like you did it yourself.
Thanks, Garrison.
Thanks, Garrison. Yeah, he took some work that we did ourselves recently and made it look a lot nicer and scalable so it doesn't turn into a lot of pixels. We make it bigger. So thank you for your help on that. All right. Margo, you said you'd like to take your 30 seconds as well, even though you're a speaker. So here you go.
Margo Garcia. I founded Great Leader Coaching to help good managers become great leaders. I believe that every employee deserves to work for a great boss. And so I spent my time in corporate HR helping to create a good working environment for people. And now I work with managers who manage other managers and help them show up as the great leaders that they want to be, the leader that their organization needs them to be. Margo Garcia, Great Leader Coaching.
Sweet. Brenda, everyone's making it easy on you today.
I know.
Their times. That's great. Okay, now we will be going to the alphabetical part of the list. So Barbara Eldridge, take it away.
I'm Barbara Eldridge. I'm founder and coordinator of Mind Masters, the support system for the small business owner. You know, when you're alone in business, it's oftentimes difficult to get the answers to the most important questions, the challenge, the resource that you need. And on a weekly basis, our groups can offer that from their experience. And we invite people to visit our groups so that they can experience what it's like to have a mastermind group that's going to support them to achieve their goals. We work from that standpoint. I celebrated 30 years in September doing this. So I have 4 groups here, but I'm also looking to license other people. So if that's of interest to you, let me know, or you know people outside of San Diego. That would be key. Barbara Eldridge at Mind Masters.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you. All right, moving down the list, Bill Curlin from North Coast Rep. Bill, you there? I see your still picture. Maybe you're just listening today. Give you another couple of seconds, and then if you don't say anything, we'll drop you to the bottom of the list and you can jump in then. Okay, so let's move on to Dave Hyman.
Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning. It's good afternoon. It's good to see you all. It's good to be here. David Hyman, Finest City IT. We are here to solve all your technical issues. To put it simply, we take the SH out of IT.
I love that.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
So we are here to help. I'm looking forward to the presentation.
Thanks so much for being with us here today. I will remember that the next time things are like my countdown starts at 1 at the beginning of this. Over to Dorian Broomer of State Farm.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dorian Brewer, State Farm Insurance, your local gay agent here at the corner of Texas and El Cajon. And really, my ask for the week is I do all types of insurance, personal, auto, business, workers' comp, everything. But my ask for the week is to actually, I'm looking for a team member to help me do what we do here, which is for State Farm, is people help people manage the risks of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and realize their dreams. Dorian Brewer, State Farm Insurance.
Thank you, Dorian. Dorian is also our VP of membership, and I think you have a new title too, don't you? Sorry, I meant you just one mute.
Yes, yeah, I'm now chair of the board. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that. So if you have questions about the organization, he's a great person to ask. Next person down on my list, I have Eli Hans.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eli Hans. I'm a life and holistic cancer coach. And for the past year, I've been developing a mostly one-man show called Out of the Blue, a miraculous musical. It's infused with humor and original music, and it's a heartwarming, inspiring story based on my cancer healing journey, celebrating the resilience of the human spirit in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. It opens next March in Mexico, where I live right now in San Miguel de Allende. And it'll be coming to San Diego and throughout festivals all throughout the world. We're very, very excited. So Eli Hans with outoftheblueshow.com. Thank you.
Wow, that is none of what I thought you were going to talk about. So clearly we've been out of touch too long. We need to have a conversation. That's fantastic. I'm so glad you were here today.
Thank you.
Let's see who's next on my list. Joseph Bennett.
Hi, thank you. Happy to be here. I am also in San Miguel de Allende, and I am married to Eli Hans. And I would like to share with you that we have a retreat space here in San Miguel. If you're not familiar with it, it is the #1 city in the world. It has been named that 5 times since 2013. And the big thing that is coming up is a Wondrous Writers Retreat. It's not happening until April, but it's already starting to fill up. So we are offering that and excited about that. We'll be going to the pyramids and having writing experiences there. We'll be going to the hot springs and having ceremonies there, and at the botanical gardens, a beautiful place to write. And that is at sanmiguelretreats.com. I am Joseph Bennett, and thank you.
Fantastic. Hey, real quick, Joseph, how many people can you house and how far are you from San Diego?
We can house up to 4 people, and we are a 3-hour flight from Tijuana.
Oh, I didn't realize you were quite that far south. Good to know. Thanks. The next person I see in the list, we're dropping down to the K's. Kong, you're up.
Sorry, did you say Tom or Kong?
I said Kong, but I hope I said that right. I took a chance.
No, it's okay. It rhymes, and it's and you're not the first. So again, my name is Kong. I just moved from San Francisco to San Diego, and this is my first time joining you all. So a little bit of my background. I work in HR. I chatted a little bit about what I do, but essentially, I've worked with some of the top leadership development companies in the world, really helping them think through HR strategy and tying the people strategy into the business strategy. And my main core focus is really helping small to mid-sized companies excel, be more successful in their jobs and in their business, and create a culture where people are engaged and love what they do. And I live in downtown San Diego, by the way.
Okay, I was wondering. Terrific. Let's see. The names are jumping around a little bit. Evan, I think I skipped you. Let's go back to the E's for Evan.
Hey there, my name is Evan Hughes. I'm a technical project manager. I work for companies like Disney Future Animation, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and NASA, as well as Amgen Pharmaceuticals. I specialize in bringing together cross-functional teams of stakeholders, both in technical, business, and client side, to develop long-term technical solutions, as well as really strong relationships between those involved in the process. I think like a professional engineer. I negotiate like a professional, I collaborate like a professional negotiator. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Scrolling down, the things are bouncing. Next person I see is Nathan.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm a career mindset coach. I founded Career Conscious, and I'm in Escondido. This is my first time here, so thank you for having me. And I work with the LGBTQ community, helping them to deconstruct unhealthy coping mechanisms, societal conditioning, to help them bring their juiciest, authentic selves into any situation, whether you are afraid of being too gay or not gay enough. So I do coaching, timeline therapy, and have a gay men's meetup group here in San Diego.
Hey, terrific. Margo and I know each other through the San Diego Professional Coaches Alliance, so that might be something you want to check out. Touch base with one of us later, we'll tell you more. Okay, is there anyone else on the list? Jeremy, do you want to chime in?
Let me jump in right here just in case for Bill or Jeremy. I think they're both on their phones. Gentlemen, if you need to, you can use *6 to toggle your mute and unmute. That might be a reason you are or are not able to join us right now. If you're muted and don't know what to do about it, *6 to Bill and Jeremy.
Looks like that. And sometimes Jeremy keeps an ear open when it's a busy day for him in running the organization. But for those of you who don't know, I'll speak on Jeremy's behalf, that Jeremy is the president of our organization, keeping us running, keeping the board moving along. His fingers are in so many.
Hey, Milo.
Oh, there you go.
Hey.
Sorry, and thanks for that reminder about the *6. So I usually take a little bit longer than 45 seconds, so if that's okay. So
after running the organization, you get that.
Okay. Thank you all for coming to the Power Lunch. We had a nice turnout 2 weeks ago at our new member mixer, which was held at Avenir Thinking downtown. That was a great event. We're back to our live event, so that was our first new member mixer in a long time. These are quarterly events. We'll be posting the next few up shortly. As Milo was saying, we do have the fall mixer coming up in 1 week on Thursday. This is a great opportunity to introduce the association to whomever, because every member gets in complimentary and every member can bring a friend or a colleague for free to the mixer. So it's going to be in his boutique, but there's additional connecting space. There's going to be a bar, includes a drink ticket and some food. And so we're looking forward to everyone at the fall mixer that's across from the Pride flag. And then keep on the lookout at SDEBA.org. We'll be announcing the date of the 2021 Business Awards in early December very, very soon. So thank you for the extra time. Glad that you guys could all make it, and look forward to today's presentation.
Terrific. Thanks. And thanks for the reminder to invite somebody. I had forgotten that that was an opportunity. It's a way to double the size of the mixer and have people learn about the organization by bringing them to it. As for me, here's my little 40-second thing. If I had to tell you that you had to go in and do open heart surgery today, my guess is you'd be nervous. Does that mean you have a phobia of open heart surgery? No, it means it's a perfectly natural fear response to doing something you're not prepared to do. And it's the same with public speaking. Most of us at some young age were thrown into it because we knew English, so apparently we're supposed to be ready to speak. And there's actually a lot of things to know before you put together a presentation, and what to do with your face and your voice and your body, and how to make sure there's the right balance of stories versus data, and all of these things that most of us have never been shown. In a coaching setting, which is designed for you, not a class which is designed for other people, or Toastmasters, which it's wonderful, but it takes years. You have the opportunity to have someone show you how to be prepared, polished, and powerful every time you speak. Watch. For once I could see Brenda because I wasn't doing my screen sharing, but I knew that I was in the left room. And with that, we're going to switch gears over to our presentation of the day. So I have already turned off my screen, so that works for everybody. I think we're all set. So my guest today, as you heard a little earlier, serves managers who want to be seen as great leaders. She spent over 25 years in corporate human resources, helping organizations to become great places to work. Today, as a coach, she works on managers who manage other managers, helping them to show up as the leaders they want to be and as the leaders their organizations need them to be. She writes and speaks on leadership and the insanity of being busy all the time. I have previously interviewed her and saw myself all over this material, but if I did, probably some other people here would too. So I wanted to bring her to the Power Lunch. So Margo Garcia, welcome to the Power Lunch.
Thank you, Milo. Thanks for sharing your audience with me.
Oh, yeah. Happy to, so happy to, because this is so interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to dive right in. No backgroundy stuff because there's a lot to cover. You've done some research and writing on this idea of busy being the new lazy. Tell us what that means in your
Well, it started out as a self-help project on myself. I was one of those people who was always at work, never home. And when I was totally exhausted. I would tell you that my family, my husband, my kids were the most important thing to me. And yet, if you looked at my calendar, looked at where I spent all my time, it wasn't with the family. So I was out of integrity with myself, and I was miserable. I knew that something had to change, but when you looked around, I mean, I had a great job, I made great money, lived in a big house, the kids went to private schools, we took them to Hawaii everything on the surface looked perfect. And the people that I hung out with were other very successful people who also were crazy busy and not feeling like they were living the life they wanted. And yet they had everything they thought they ever needed or wanted. And so it was this struggle, we actually used to have conversations about who was busier, and the person who was the most sleep deprived somehow was the winner. I mean, that was insanity. And so I was really struggling with this notion about, if I have everything, why am I not happy? Why? And so I started doing the self-help stuff. I read every book that was out at the time, started, I actually went into therapy. I, just was, because I was really struggling. And what it really came down to was I needed to make changes. And I'd been so afraid to make those changes. I was keeping myself very occupied, overscheduled, and always running, so that I didn't actually have to look at the changes I would have to make for myself. And so that's where I came up with this idea of my busyness was just laziness, because I wasn't looking at and attending to the things that I knew I needed to change in order to move forward.
Yeah, I feel like I can look at my to-do list of all those tasks that keep me just so very busy. But what's not on the list is reaching out to past clients for referrals, because that's not something I enjoy doing. So if I'm busy, clearly I'm working on my business, but not always putting it in the right place. How can someone tell if busy is the new lazy applies to them?
Well, I ask 3 questions typically. One is, are you overscheduled, overcommitted to the point where you can't even breathe? We often keep ourselves so tightly committed and scheduled that we don't even have time to think. We just do. We're in reaction mode. And it's unfortunate that our culture supports that and actually rewards that in many ways. Look how productive somebody's being. Look how busy they are. That's a good thing. And yet it's not allowing us to take a look at those things that are really important to us. So that's the number one question. Are you, crazy busy, overscheduled? And what is that not allowing you to take a look at in your life? The second question is—
I have 5 minutes on February 6th to answer that question.
Yes, right, exactly. The other thing is, do you feel like you're on a hamster wheel? I mean, just running, but not actually getting anywhere. That's another clue that maybe if you slow down, take a breath, step off the hamster wheel, you can actually start digging into those things that are more important to you. Because once you identify those things that really matter to you, then you can use those as a touchstone to start getting cleaner about where you're spending your time and your attention and your focus. And then the third one I alluded to was that, is this all there is? Once, if you feel like, okay, I was told, or I always thought that if I had X, Y, and Z, that I would be happy. They told me that once I had the house, once I had the this, once I had the whatever, then I would be happy. And you've got that and you're not happy, something's wrong, something's missing, and it's not external to you, it's inside, because it's really, this part of your body, the the brain that makes up these stories about how you're supposed to be instead of tuning into what feels right. So if you can answer yes to any of those questions, you're probably leaning in that gray area called crazy busy. And I know I was living in all three of those. And it wasn't until I got to be so miserable, so out of whack, that I knew that I had to do something different. And that's when I did. I stopped. I jumped off the hamster wheel. I did something fairly extreme. I quit working. And I don't necessarily recommend that for everybody,
I'm so
but
glad to hear that.
that's how extreme it was for me. I actually had to step out of the working world for a little while to get my head screwed on right now. And it was hard because I mean, the general manager I was working for at the time was going, no, you can't quit, just go part-time or, blah. And I'm going, no, I work 65 hours a week now. If I go part-time, I'm still,
That's almost full time anyway.
it's still too much. I need time away. And so I did. I took some time off and worked on me and came out on the other side. Not only a better person, you can ask my family, they'll verify that. But I think a better friend, a better mom, just a better human being. And this aspect, this part of my life has been just so much more joyful because I have a very clear sense of who I am, what I want, what matters to me. And that's what I use to help guide what I do, what I commit to, and how I spend my time.
How long ago was that? I really don't know. Is it before I met you or after?
Oh yeah, so the journey started in just before 2000. So about 20 years ago. Yeah.
So I know the post Margo. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't have recognized the crazy before Margo.
So I know you were trying to achieve what some people use the term work-life balance, but I got to tell you, I've heard people laugh at that phrase when I've referenced it because they're like, yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, there really is no balance. It's a lie we tell ourselves. It's really because we just have one life, and it's really about where we put our time, attention, and our focus. And you can have a lot of things that are meaningful to you, a lot of things that are of interest to you, a lot of things that you care about, but you can't attune to them or attend to them all at the same time. So it's really about where you're putting your energy and your focus. And then when that's done, or you've done what you needed to do, said what you needed to say, putting that aside and focusing on something else, because it's only when we are fully present and committed to whatever's in front of us that we're able to bring our whole selves to that conversation or to that interaction. When we try and say, oh, I'm multitasking, that's the bigger lie that we tell ourselves, because our brains just aren't set up to do that. We can really only attend to one thing at a time. And part of my challenge over the years has been originally thinking that I was Superwoman and I could do all of those things all at the same time and that I was a great juggler, to now knowing that I'm great at focusing on one thing at a time, giving my all to it, and then setting it aside and going off to do something else. It's and that was a really hard lesson and a habit that I had to break and then reestablish, because it was just so ingrained in me that, oh yeah, I can do 7 things at the same time. And I really couldn't. Most people cannot.
And yet try. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would love to go back and find out if I'm ADD, because someone looked at my computer like, do you know that you have 12 options open on the bottom? Like, and one of them is Firefox, where there's 9 screens open. You can't see that from here. I hear you in everything you're saying, but the word laziness is a surprising word choice. When I was telling people about this program, they're like, But is it laziness or is it avoidance? Tell me about the choice of the word laziness.
So yeah, so I chose the word lazy very specifically because it's a charged word. It implies avoidance and procrastination, and there's a lot of negativity there. And yet when I looked at what I was doing in my life, I was avoiding the hard questions. I was procrastinating on dealing with some of the things I knew I would have to change. And so that to me was, just being lazy about the changes I needed to make. So yeah, I equated if procrastination and avoidance are lazy and my being overscheduled and crazy busy was about procrastinating and avoidance. Therefore, busy was lazy.
I was just going to ask you about procrastination, how that fits into that, because I know it's kind of like the P word to you. It's almost, if it could be spelled in 4 letters, you treat it that way. Is there anything more you wanted to say on procrastination? Because I know that was one of your topics.
Gosh, it's probably one of the number one things I work with my clients on. And it certainly was one of the number one things that I dealt with back then and continue to struggle with as a human being. Procrastination is it's so easy. It's so easy to get distracted by shiny objects or the next, new loud, whatever thing, and take us off the task at hand. And probably the greatest advice that I can give anybody is just paying attention to where your focus is. And when you find yourself distracted or moving off into something else, the more quickly you can notice it, the more quickly you can bring yourself back. Or, and this is often a piece of advice I give people, if you find yourself doing that over and over and over again, then switch the task. There's something about what you're doing that says, I don't want to be doing this for whatever reason. So maybe you take, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes for you, and do something else so that when you get back to the task, you now have sort of shaken off all of that other stuff that was distracting you, that was causing you to get off focus. Procrastination is something that it's like a habit that we allow ourselves to repeat. So when you find yourself binge watching, something on TV instead of doing what you're supposed to do, or you're playing that game because it's so easy to just hit, replay, whatever, then that's great information for you about what's going on in your life. And if you pay attention to what's going on in your head, you can say, okay, I'm going to choose to do this for the next 10 minutes, or I'm going to choose to do something else, because it's all about choice.
And recognizing that you're making a choice instead of it just happening to you.
Exactly. And so procrastination is laziness, paramount laziness, because it's saying, I'm not choosing, I'm just going with the flow. And you may allow yourself to do that. You may build that into your schedule to say, I need X amount of this in my life just to remain sane and feeling good and all of that. So you may build it in, but it's when it happens and it's not what you had committed to do, that's when it becomes problematic for people. And so I work with my clients to help the noticing, to help the awareness building, because once you're aware, once you notice, then you can choose something different.
Like that. No, I'm going to save that question in case we have time, because it was something you brought up in the previous interview that I don't want to skip, which is people who say they work better under pressure, which ties into the procrastination. Yeah, look at you laughing already. I take it you don't buy that.
No, I mean, that's again another lie we tell ourselves. No one works better when there's fires all around them. No one works better when they're, feeling pressured and stressed. The best times that we can get into a flow state is when we've cleared everything else off. So there aren't any distractions there. Everything that we need is right in front of us, and we can actually pay attention and focus on the one thing that we're committed to doing at that point in time. So being under pressure, while it does give us a hit of dopamine for a little bit, it really is not when you're physically at your best to do your best work.
It makes sense when you say it. In the moment, it feels right. Like, oh, look how that worked out, but it probably didn't work out like it should. And in coaching my clients, I rarely had somebody did a better presentation because they waited to the last minute. So
because they were totally stressed out. Yeah, it doesn't happen.
How about the pandemic? How has it impacted the work you do with your clients?
Well, last year it was all about dealing with the fear, the deaths. There was a lot of tragedy last year, and people just trying to get a sense of what's going on. That people had lost loved ones, people were afraid. We were in this situation where we had no experience in dealing with something like this. So there was a lot of unknown, and I was working with my clients just trying to unravel some of this the fear and the uncertainty. The uncertainty continues, but I also believe that we're in a bit of a renaissance now. People are feeling like, okay, I'm vaccinated. People I know are vaccinated. We're getting back out there, things that are opening up. And I don't want to go back to the way things were. Mm-hmm. I want to take this opportunity to say, I want to create something better for myself, for my family, so that I'm not either crazy busy the way I was, or I'm not overscheduled and never, spending time with the people that I love and now have had time to spend with them. I want something different. And so the conversations I'm having with my clients today are much more hopeful, much more future oriented, and much more about creating something that's sustainable, that's better than the way it was.
Yeah, I just so support you in that. And I think also the hybrid models, we have more options that come to mind because of what we were forced to do for a while. Like, I'm hoping the power lunch will continue long after I continue to go to mixers and things like that. You couldn't have been with us today because you're not in San Diego. The opportunities that are there now that weren't before.
And not only are there more opportunities, but we can be so creative. We made things work last year that we had no idea how we were going to, carry on, and yet we did it. And so today it's like, hey, this and this worked for me. I can do this, and there's space now, and people looking more optimistically at what's possible because of what we've survived.
I didn't have time in the last interview to ask you this, so now I want to. Can you share a story about one of your clients who made help in this area of busy is the new lazy with your help?
Yeah, I've got a couple, but one I love telling is about a client who, at the beginning of last year, he was married, a couple kids, managing a department of like 7 or 8 people, and, just doing his thing. Big house, he had the boat, he had the, and that's where he was beginning of last year.
Supposed success story.
Yeah. When I started working with him, he was by himself in a 1-bedroom apartment in Texas, managing a new team because he'd gotten divorced and was now starting over. So going from, I thought I had everything. Oh my God, my world has crashed. I'm in this new space, and everything's new, and I'm afraid. He was afraid that he would never have what he had before. He was afraid that all of this, everything that was new was going to take so long and was going to be so hard to get back to a place where he felt good about himself. And in the end, what he ended up doing was something that he thought was completely impossible, and that was writing a book. When his second child was born, he'd always had this idea about writing a book, but when his second child was born, he totally shelved it because, you know, there was just too much family stuff going on, and with his work and everything else, he never thought he would find the time. And alas, now he had nothing but time. So he has written a book, and knock on wood, if everything, you know, goes well, it will come out next year. It's a book about the work he does. And he's very, very proud of himself, and is using the completion of the book as a springboard to say, if I could do this, which I thought was impossible, I can do anything. So
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
yeah.
If people want to talk to you more about this concept and what you do, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
I am on LinkedIn, and my website is greatleadercoaching.com. I love chatting with people about what's possible for them, and looking at, you know, the success that they've had and taking that to yet another level, and knowing that the life they want to lead is possible for them to create. Absolutely. Because I'm doing the same.
Not distracted. I'm not multitasking. I just happen to be putting your website in the chat area.
Thank you.
But I don't know your LinkedIn by heart if you want to put it there afterwards. Margaret, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I want you to go back and check the comments when we finish up the meeting, because so many people are sharing things with you that I'm sure you couldn't be reading while you were
Right. And I didn't tell you, but the computer I was on just shut down. So I'm back on my phone. So yes, I would.
I didn't notice the switch.
Good. I'm going to try and save the chat here so that I can do just that.
Terrific. Well, thank you again. I'm going to go back to some stuff from the meeting, and then at the end, if people want to linger for Q&A with you, that would be great.
That would be great. And Milo, if I could ask if you save the chat and forward it to me, I'm not seeing the button where to do that on my phone.
Just did it to play it safe. Although I have a reminder for everyone, when you click save the chat, it's only from that point on. If people don't know, your further comments won't be in that. So you got to click it again if anything comes up. But I wanted to make sure I did that for you. So going back to my PowerPoint, let me just get through stuff that no longer applies. We covered that. Here we go. Okay, so back to share screen. This sounds so professional when you talk out loud, doesn't it? Here we go. So our next power lunch, which is on November 10th, I want everyone to put that on their calendar. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be, drum roll, Kelly Taylor from Smart Solar. And it's not just a question of someone in the organization getting a chance to share what she does. This isn't about promoting her company. This is a real look at the crisis in clean energy and what's happening to solar, because I'm throwing solar on my desert house. And that's why I talked to Kelly about this. Now that I know what's going on with the CPUC, is they're basically going to make it that starting next year, there's almost no value in putting solar on your home. It's crazy. And why I'm trying to get grandfathered in by getting everything done this year. It's very interesting, and it affects everyone, whether you own a home or not, because of what it's going to do to rates across the board, what's going on. It should be an interesting look at that. So please be with us on that day, it's November 10th. But before that, be with us in person on the 21st for our mixer from 5:30 to 7:30. Again, you can go to sdeba.org/events to sign up for the event at Oseas Latoro's store in the middle of Hillcrest. Testimonials, this is where we share if there's anybody you want to throw a testimonial out for what they do. I was going to give one, but I'm not sure that the business is still appropriate. Eli, are you still doing your design work? That's what I was going to give a testimonial work for, but you were talking about your show.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we, after the whole cancer adventure, we gave up interior design and just really switched paths. So it's all been about coaching others through their cancer journey. And then now this show has really taken over both of our lives. So no more designing, but thank you though. I appreciate it.
such beautiful work, but I haven't been to your retreat center or seen your show, so I guess I can't plug you at this time. Is there anyone else here who has made use of the services of other people on this in the call, or just want to say something about SDEBA itself before we wrap? Garrison.
Yeah, so I've, as you saw, I mean, I do a lot of graphic design and some web stuff as well. And CJ, as you said, is a master of it. You know, a lot of people look at it and say, well, I already have a website, so I don't need to hire somebody else to do a website. But many times there's like, I just need to fix one thing, or there's a piece that's not working, or I want to add XYZ to it. And CJ is awesome at it. You know, whether it's a one step or one part or one little piece, you know, he's the guy that can totally help you out of the blue in a short period of time, you know, take that on, do it for you, or help you with it as a consultant by the hour, or take on the little project that you want added to what you're doing. He's just a master at it. So he's a great resource, and I'm grateful to have him in my corner.
Thank you. Yeah, and building on the CJ bandwagon, some of you may know that I got banned from Facebook for my website because of inappropriate content. And I can't imagine what about a business public speaking coaching, their algorithm turned up that I was inappropriate. I've been told by many people, once you're banned, there is no getting it undone. And CJ found, I don't know what back channel to reach someone, and all of a sudden I could post again. And it wasn't even my photo editing business. I could see maybe my photo editing business. It was my business about being a public speaking coach. Now I can post again. So as he says, the internet is a jungle, and he knows a lot of the trees. Inside and out. Any more testimonies? I can't see everybody at once while I'm sharing, so you can just shout out. Oh, I see a hand from David.
Yeah, I wanted to give a plug for Garrison. I had an opportunity to work with him through another nonprofit that we're both members of, and he does great work. So if you need some graphic design, give Garrison a call.
Very well earned. No question about it. Okay, I don't see any more hands at the moment, so I apologize if someone's raising. I'm scrolling back and forth and not seeing it. But
if I could jump in, Milo, Evan had his hands up, and since I've got the mic, I'll say Garrison for graphic design. He made these beautiful business cards for me. So clever how he put the information on the back that people could get to. And let's see if I can grab it quickly. Yes, I can. He makes other brochures for me that I can use at my in-person trainings. And the way he puts it together and how much fun it is for people to actually use inside the workshop, it's just so great. His ideas are wonderful. He's not going to give you what you ask for. He's going to give you what you need.
Absolutely. Well
Beautiful.
Put. I'm wondering how many people in the organization can hold up a card that Garrison printed or designed for them like this one. Yeah. All right, so moving on, now that we're done giving each other testimonials, please do follow us in these two places. Facebook, it's an easy one. It's facebook.com/ the name of the organization. The LinkedIn name is actually kind of cryptic, so I created this tiny URL. So tinyurl.com/ LinkedIn SDEBA. The Power Lunch page itself, if you think this was interesting today, I wonder which ones I might have missed in the past, you can check them out by going to power-lunch.com. And we have every episode back to last November when we interviewed Todd Gloria, and Margo should be up in the next day or two as well if you want to share this one with anybody. Our distribution list, if you're not a member, but you want to just find out what's happening with our stuff, anyone can get on our mailing list. So please sign up on our homepage as a way to do that. And if you're a member and you're not getting our stuff, it may very well be that you need to add SDEBA.org as a safe sender on your allow list. Allow list being the new political correct term for what it used to be called. So if you want to become a member, go to our website, click Join SDBA, or you can talk to Dorian. He will click that for you if it means getting a new member, no question about it. The question about saving the chat, in the bottom right corner there's those 3 dots, and you can click Save the Chat. As we're wrapping up, this is probably the time to do it. If you wanted to pick up anyone's information, I just realized I never put my information in there. So hold on, about 2 minutes, let me click my stuff to add it to what you say. It's going to put it in this file down here at the bottom in case you don't know where it goes, and that way you can search for it. Our final thought, which comes from Thomas Jefferson today: may I never get too busy in my own affairs that I fail to respond to the needs of others with kindness and compassion. Mm-hmm. As she's taken a chance to breathe, I always found that Margo does this for me, so I want to thank her once again. Thank you to you all too. If you have any comments, you can send them to the organization at that top email, or to me at milo@miloshapiro.com. That's not my main email, but it's a lot easier than spelling my name. And that's all, folks. So I'm going to end the sharing of the screen, and I'm real quickly going to put I use a wonderful tool that sticks things in with only a few characters. So I'm going to put in how cool is that I can type all of that with like 8 characters. That's it for this month's issue, but please do linger if you want to take questions from Margo, because she would love to answer them, I think. But officially,
Yes.
we will see you November 10th for our next event, and have a great day as we end the tape.